Hello.
Hola! Hello, everybody! Yeah, so this is the test stream of Crossing the Streams. I have with me Trash Picture Show, Anthro. Yeah. Oh, hey, look, there it is right there. Nice.
Yep, it came up in my recommended, no less. It's right there.
Oh, Groovy Ghoulies, we got it.
Ditto.
Yep. And I can see your lovely thumbnail now.
Yeah, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
With the Stay Puft Marshmallow Woman.
It's
Excellent.
it's magic.
The wonders of modern technology. So I should have had more prepared, but this is really just sort of like a test. So yeah, I've been shooting the breeze with Martin for a while. So what's up with you, Anthro?
Let me see. I just I've been on basically since it's Devil's Night, I've been on a Crow kick all day. I did the live stream with Marty, and we talked the Crow, and then Queenie streamed the Crow. So been kind of just writing that all day, and that's been most of what's on my mind.
It's fairly cool. Poor fucking Queenie. Poor Queenie nearly had a heart attack because she thought we were streaming the movie, but I was like, no, it's okay. We're just having a discussion on it.
Right. I know they do the annual Devil's Night stream, so when you put Devil's Night stream in the title, they were like, no.
Yeah, no, that was my complete fuck up. And again, that's her. As she says, she does that every year. That's her tradition. And I would never, as I said to the other guys, I would never shit on her garden. That would be the equivalent of me going into her garden and pinching one off. That would not be something I'd do. So yeah. Hey, we have Arthur in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 people watching. One thing I always wondered with YouTube, if you're on a stream but you're also watching the stream from your phone, are you one of the people that's marked as watching?
I would say yes, because I would say yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So wait, so that means there's me and there's Arthur. Who else? Because there's 3 watching right now according to the StreamYard.
Well, I'm watching from my phone. Antro, are you watching? Are you watching it? So yeah, it's probably me, you, and Arthur.
All right, we need to get more people over here.
I'm a small channel. I only have 27 subscribers or something. I'm tiny. I'm small potatoes.
It's early days yet. As you said, you have to bolster your content, and then they'll all come a fucking running.
Yeah, I'll retweet you real quick if you want.
Yeah, do you want to throw out a pimp tweet?
Go for it.
I was thinking
a pimp tweet that you're live now, Ethel.
Oh, awesome!
But
I got the Ghostbusters thumbnail going, so maybe we'll talk Ghostbusters. I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts or anything, or if someone else has already done this on the stream.
I haven't talked Ghostbusters a lot, but I really love both Ghostbusters movies. The first 2, I have yet to see the new one. I've heard mixed things. I know people who despise it. I know people who love it, but bottom line, I love the first 2 movies, especially just the practical effects. They're beautiful.
That first scene in the library with the ghost, when I was a kid, I never expected that. And it's like you get this whole build up with the library cards, and Bill Murray's got the slime on his fingers, and he's like wiping it all over the place. And you're like, okay, I know what this movie's going to be like. And then you see the ghost, and it's like, holy crap. That's not a funny effect. That's like an actual horror movie effect.
Right, and it starts just so sort of ethereal, ghostly, and then immediately goes into nightmare territory, like
Yeah,
0 to 10.
yeah, the kind of it extends and it's just got the teeth and it's just like
Yeah,
it's cool and like the original premise was it was going to be set in the future and it was going to be set in the future and basically Ghostbusters were the equivalent of like fucking pest control, but the budget was way too big. Originally, it was going to be Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, and they were going to be like two members of this kind of international company. But yeah, I know that they had to scale it back, and yeah, I'm glad they did. I'm glad we got what we did because I don't think that would have worked.
It's it's such good casting if you think about it. You got Dan Aykroyd, you got Bill Murray. It all works. You got Rick Moranis in there. I don't even know. Like that's just it's one of those things where all the pieces sort of fell into place.
I feel so bad for Ernie Hudson. I was like, he's always left out of the market and stuff. He's always left out. He was left out of stuff. He went to do a voice audition for the animated series, and he was told he didn't sound black enough.
Excuse me?
Yeah, he did. He lost it to Arsenio Hall. I think Arsenio Hall voiced Winston in the animated series.
That's
and
insulting.
it was, and it sucks so much.
I mean, he was Winston. How can he not be Winston enough?
Yeah,
to be...
isn't that the most patronizing thing ever? Ironically, you might find this interesting, Ethel. He did voice Cyborg in Super Friends. He voiced Cyborg in Super Friends and a couple other cartoon things. The reason was Egon. The reason was Egon was blonde was because Peter had a big pompadour of hair as well, and they're originally going to give Peter they were originally going to give Peter Venkman a receding hairline, but when Bill Murray, who had a receding hairline, found out his animated counterpart was going to have a receding hairline, no, you can't do that. Give me hair, but you don't have hair. I don't care. I want hair. It's like, fuck, we'll give him hair. Now Peter's fucking head looks like fucking Egon's. Well, we'll have to make Egon blonde to differentiate. It's like, but he's wearing glasses. It's insane. It's insane. The other cartoon thing I love is I forget the guy's name. The guy who voiced Peter voiced Garfield, but when Garfield was made into a live action animation, it was Bill Murray who voiced him. So is that guy the Bill Murray equivalent of cartoons? Is he the voice of Bill Murray in all cartoons? Like, I found that funny. That was kind of like they were
interesting.
It's like the spiritual Bill Murray.
But yeah, no. I love the Ghostbusters cartoon. I love the fact that it had to be called the real Ghostbusters because of what was that show with the gorilla and the
Ghostbusters the animated series. That's an interesting story because before Ghostbusters the movie was a thing, there was a series in like the 50s or the 60s featuring a gorilla and these other people called Ghostbusters, which I did not watch, but I discovered Ghostbusters the animated series on Netflix like when I was really little, and I was hooked on that show. I loved that show.
Now I didn't see that when it was on TV, but I'm familiar with that. That's sort of in the same vein as HR Pufnstuf and other Sid and Marty Krofft kind of productions where they got the guy in the ape suit and they're kind of out there ghost hunting, solving mysteries or whatever. It was silly.
Yeah.
They the 50 show and they re-released it then in the 80s because they wanted to coast on the popularity of the Ghostbusters show. So that's why, because of the Ghostbusters movie, then the Ghostbusters movie had an animated movie spin-off, had an animated show made, and they had to call it the real
Right.
Ghostbusters. So
Yeah. Yeah. But the animated series based on the 50s show, I loved that when I was younger because it took it into such interesting territory. They had this villain character called Prime Evil, who was like this dark, like retro futuristic overlord, and they would travel to medieval times in ancient Egypt, and they had like specific characters for each place. There was a mummy and an undead knight, and just all these weird, specific ghost characters that I loved.
it was definitely a fun show. It was, I think it was more in the vein of Scooby Doo. Would you? Yeah, it was more in the vein of Scooby Doo. Ethel, do you want me to see if I can drop Trenchy a link to the to the stream? Because I know he's on. Yeah, I'll see if I'll see if I can get him in. And on 1 second. But I think I wasn't a fan of the new Ghostbusters, but here's the thing: I really liked the cast. I liked the idea of the female cast. I just think it was badly fucking written. I didn't like the fact that they had, again, like with the other movie, they had an African American character. They made her the blue collar character. It's like, why not make her a fucking scientist and make maybe Kate McKinnon or something, one of the subway workers. I thought they could have just mixed stuff up, but I think it was just weak writing. Like, the funniest thing out of it wasn't even one of the Ghostbusters. It was Chris Hemsworth. I was like, Chris Hemsworth is this big fucking himbo. He wore glasses that had no fucking glass in them. He said he made him look more intelligent. It has its moments, but I just think the writing was weak. Sorry, I went on the tirade again.
Right. I know people who despise it, and I know people who love it or at least like it. So I want to give it a chance at some point.
It's worth the it's worth a look.
Mm-hmm.
There is some nuggets of gold, but I can see why people are disappointed. I can also see that there was some arseholes who were like, fucking women Ghostbusters, what the fuck?
Yeah, those people I could not care less about. They annoy me.
There's even a bit where the characters are reading on YouTube. Basically, someone records them first busting a ghost for the first time, and they actually took the YouTube comments from the first trailer, the reaction to the first trailer, and put it in the comments of the reaction to them busting. And why are these bitches busting ghosts? That was one of the comments on the trailer.
So they took the actual initial reaction to the movie and put it in the movie.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
That was one of the cleverer parts, I thought, and I genuinely think that if the writing had been a bit better, that it would have been a solid movie. The thing is, it totally ignores the other movies. I don't think they should have done that either. If it had been a sequel, it would have been a bit more solid. Mm-hmm. Also, Trenchy, if you're watching, I sent a link. Ethel gave me the link to her stream, so I PM'd it to you on Twitter if you want to jump on.
I'm going to drop it in the chat too, because I think I still have it saved to my clipboard. Yeah, there it is, and in there. But yeah, no, I'll say this about that 2016 Ghostbusters film. I didn't see it, but not because of like any controversy or anything. It just didn't look like it offered anything to me. Like, I saw the special effects and they sort of reminded me of that Haunted Mansion movie or whatever you call it.
Oh, the one with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, with Eddie Murphy. Yeah, definitely. It was Haunted Mansion. For a second, I thought I was getting the name wrong. But where the ghost special effects just look really bubbly.
Again, like, the thing is, you're going to have to accept regardless. And this is me. This is the motherfucker who's like, oh, practical all the way. Well, you're going to have to accept, like, when doing stuff like that, there's no way around it. You're going to have to use CG.
Well,
and the novelty, I think, is lost.
Right.
Sorry, Ethel.
Oh, you go ahead. You were about to say something.
Well, I was just going to say they can use the CG, but they don't have to make it look so cartoony or so oversaturated so that it doesn't match, you know?
I get that. Just for me personally. Oh, hey, Trenchy.
No, Trench.
Welcome to the stream, Trenchy.
Thanks for having me up.
We're doing Ghostbusters talk.
Nice.
But yeah, when it comes to CG, for example, another ghost movie that I love is The Frighteners, but the CGI in that movie is garbage for the most part, especially the look of the Grim Reaper character. Even for its time, it's really bad CGI.
Oh yeah, or where the characters, the two villains are being pulled into hell. Like, it's real kind of, it's real.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's garbage looking CGI, but I think the writing and the storytelling holds up well enough that it doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the film for me. It's still a really good movie in my eyes, just with really bad effects.
Yeah, if Trenchy, your volume is a bit bleh.
Oh, I don't know.
I was gonna say, well, if you can get past if the story is good enough, you can get past the bad CG. It's a question of, is it good enough? Like, is it gonna be an experience
Sorry, Ethel. I'm always fucking doing that. Sorry. Go on. It's your stream. Go. No, you go. I insist. Ladies first.
Well, I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, we lost Trenchy.
I think he's fixing technical difficulties. I suspect he'll be back, but if you're not, have a good night, I guess.
What you were going to say was, Ethel, if the story is good enough, and then I cut you off like a rude fucker that I am.
Oh yeah, well, if the story is good enough, like, you can sort of excuse a little bit of bad CG here or there, but like you can't just go full bore into it and then have nothing different in the story. Like, especially with Ghostbusters, where it's sort of like, we've had 2 films, we had this really great video game, there's been cartoon series and all sorts of comic books. It's like, you got to give somebody something new, or you got to give them something old that's different. And I just don't know if they really did that.
I'm going to be interested to see what like, myself and my housemate watched a trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Is that the name of it? One with Paul Rudd. And we were watching because, okay, someone really, really, really likes Stranger Things with this trailer. I was like, yeah, it's Stranger Things set in the Ghostbusters universe. But like, I had to groan out loud. I like Paul Rudd, but his line, oh yeah, New York back in the 80s was like The Walking Dead. Do not use pop culture references as a crutch, because they date your fucking movie so easily. Don't do that. That dates your movie inexplicably. Immediately your movie is fucked.
Or if you're going to use culture reference, you got to go with something that's so established and so far back that it can't possibly date you, you know?
Yeah, something that's just been ingrained into pop culture for such a long time anyway, I guess.
Like anybody can reference Wizard of Oz or like Alice in Wonderland and zero problems. You can reference Dracula, Frankenstein, zero problems. You're never going to be dated because that's an immortal part of history.
Right.
Even innuendo, like great jokes with innuendo. Okay, boys, he's a sailor. All we gotta do is get him laid, and we're okay. I love that line.
That still works. That's such a good line.
Or my favorite line again. We were talking about this earlier on, Antro, about Ernie Hudson, how great he is. Like the mayor is totally blowing off the Ghostbusters, and Winston goes over. Look, Mayor, I've only worked with these guys for a couple of days, but I seen shit that had turned you white. It's just, I love that line. I seen shit that had turned brothers white.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey.
can you hear me now?
Just about, a bit better.
Okay, I'm using a different device because the other ones, I can't use it. And
No, we can hear you good now.
You sound fine now. Everything's good.
Okay, cool.
Coming in 5 by 5.
What did you think, Trenchy, of the 2016 Ghostbusters? Or have you seen it?
I've seen it. I think it had potential because all those women are funny. All those women are usually funny. It was just badly written.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stereotypes used, you know, that I wish they wouldn't have gone with that type of humor. And I did like the Kate McKinnon, I think, the scientist one, the really smart one, the tech person. She was great. It was just, you know, it could have been good.
It had potential. I just think the writing was weak. I didn't like it because the quote unquote it was straight up woman. It was just the writing. The writing was fucking. The writing was dross.
Sorry.
No, Ethel,
You're
it's
good.
your
Again,
fucking.
it's your stream. You do what you want.
It's your stream. If you want to say, hey, you fucking bald-headed Mick, shut the fuck up, I want to talk. You say, hey, you bald-headed Mick, shut the fuck up, I want to talk. So yeah, sorry, Ethel. Go on.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's all. I was just.
It's your stream. It's your stream, woman.
Okay. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. No. I remember now. What was the deal with the uniforms? Like, I feel like I'm the only one who was bothered by this. They had the weird, like, reflective stripes, super thin, like 1-inch reflective stripes across the torso, and like randomly on the uniform. Does anybody else bothered by that, or is that just me?
Go on, Trenchy.
Oh no, I was just laughing. You guys can go.
Are you sure? I thought you were going to say something.
Oh no, it wasn't.
My guess is it was just a modernized version of some kind of fucking utilitarian kind of boiler suit or workman suit. Or, I don't know, just an updated thing.
It's just so weird because it's like, why wouldn't you go with the old uniforms just with different names on them and like maybe slightly different cut because it's for a woman, you know? Like, why would you go this extra dumpy route? I don't get that.
I suppose they just wanted to differentiate them, but I genuinely don't know. Okay, so the thing was, I always figured that they got the old uniforms because they had bought the firehouse and maybe the old uniforms were lying around in the firehouse because there was always a reason for something like the hearse, like
Well,
they'd gotten the hearse and shit. So I thought maybe that the uniforms were just something that had been lying around the firehouse. I could be wrong. I don't know.
well, like they didn't really look like firemen's uniforms, though. Like that's like I don't know. I feel like they could have been more clear about it, and like it's a nitpick. I admit it's a total nitpick. It's always bugged me about the thing. Every time I see the photos, I see them, and I'm like, geez, would it have killed them to just gone with the old thing and just updated it a little? What's with the reflectors? What is that?
Yeah.
The thing is, there's so many movies that do the opposite of that that drives me nuts. Though, Ethel, like for again, I get what you're saying, but I prefer them skewing over that to say in Solo, where we have to find out how Han Solo got his jacket, where we have to find out how Han Solo got his fucking his smuggler blaster. It's like,
That
fuckers,
was cool, though.
you know.
I agree with that a little bit.
I like how he got he got his gun and stuff. It was just like how he got his name. Like, was that really needed? Because that was kind of silly.
His name is Han. He's on his own. You're called Solo. The fuck?
It's worse when you realize it's a ripoff of that Art Carney joke from the holiday special.
Oh, but I haven't seen the holiday special.
That's something we're doing for Christmas, either on your channel, Ethel, or my channel. We're watching the fucking holiday special.
Oh god.
I'm good. Honest to God, guys, you've seen me swear on a regular basis, but you haven't seen me swear while I'm drunk watching the fucking Christmas holiday special. That will be a fucking treat. Honest to God, man, I'm gonna be fucking flaming watching that.
Isn't there Wookiee porn in that?
Okay, so right. Grandpa Lumpy is watching VR, okay? And this sexy fucking singer comes on. I don't know what the fuck who she is. But Grandpa Lumpy is jaw fucking the fuck out of himself. His jaws are fucking doing that. Honest to God, man, Grandpa Lumpy looks like he's trying to devour his nose. He's so fucking turned on. He's like fucking hell, man. He's like a crab. He's like a crab trying to eat its own fucking face. He's that much enamored with this one. Like, and guess what? Guess what, Trenchy? It's all from the shoulders up. We don't see where that hairy fucker's hands is. We don't know. Like, can you imagine what that guy's fur is like? Can you imagine how matted and smelly that fur is going to be like at the end of it?
I gotta
didn't
watch
need to
this
think
now.
about that.
I gotta watch this now, man. You got me.
I got a question for you, Trenchy. Which is worse, to try and get jizz out of Lumpy's fur, or to try and comb fucking Chewie's arse after he's just taken his shit? Which is worse? Which is the more of two evils? You gotta pick one, Trenchy.
I guess I do the shit. I do the shit. That's nasty, but you know.
At least it's not Wookie jizz.
Yeah,
Well,
at least it's not Wookie though.
Yeah, I'll wear gloves.
The thing about the shit is you trim the hair. It's like a sheep or like one of those long-haired alpacas. Is you just trim the hair. You trim the clumps right off. You don't have to comb it.
Ew.
Ethel, I don't know about you, but I'm fairly sure they don't have scissors in Kashyyyk. I think I'm going to go with the pun, but I think you're shit out of luck.
Okay. Before anyone says anything else, I'm remembering a couple years ago, I had a pop culture class in high school, and right before school let out for Christmas, my pop culture teacher had not a Christmas party, but a Festivus party. And we actually, we brought different, we were supposed to bring, foods that were things from Seinfeld. And we were supposed to, we had an airing of grievances, and we watched the Star Wars holiday special together.
Did you perform any feats of strength?
I think there was a feats of strength section, which was mostly just arm wrestling. But
Hey, Ethel, watching the holiday special is a feat of fucking strength. It's a feat of mental fucking strength.
Yeah, but what my dad convinced me to do that day was to just bring a Snickers bar with me, but then just pull silverware out of my backpack and start eating it with a fork and a knife.
Yes! That's the best thing ever!
And I did not tell anybody what I was doing. I just started doing it.
People are like, hey, fuck the holiday special. There's some weird shit going on over here.
Right. But you've seen that Seinfeld episode, right?
I have. Wait, he goes eating Snickers bar with cutlery.
Yeah, someone starts eating a Snickers bar with cutlery. It's like somebody's boss or something, and they're like, "Oh, this is what the classy people do." So eventually, like, everybody in the town is eating their desserts with cutlery.
It was Elaine's boss, Mr. Pitt.
Yeah.
He pulled out the Snickers bar and he puts it on the fine china and he takes out the fork and the knife and it's all like fancy silverware and he just starts cutting it and eating it. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Enjoying a Snickers."
Yeah. And by the end of the episode, there's like I'm trying to remember. There's like a God, I don't remember, but everybody's doing it. There's like a random homeless guy who's doing it.
George is working at the Yankees during the season, so like he brings it to a meeting and he pulls out the Snickers bar and he puts it on a plate and he starts cutting with a fork and knife. And the other guys at the meeting are like, what are you doing? And he's like, "I'm eating a Snickers bar." They're like, "With a fork and knife?" And he's like, "What do you expect me to use? My hands?"
I love George. I love when him and Elaine, they decide to accept a free ride in a limo because they get mistaken for these kind of speakers, which turns out the speakers are neo-Nazis. And George starts singing Fiddler on the Roof, If I Was a Richman, without realizing it. And the two ones in the car are like, what the fuck? This guy's supposed to be an anti-Semite. And he's like, that's a great episode. Or the one with Jerry starts dating a Native American and Kramer gets a cigar Indian and he has it in a taxi. And he passes by Jerry with his girlfriend, and he's like, "Oh, fucking crazy!"
Oof.
I like it. I like that episode when they're looking for a good Chinese place and they can't find one, and because they're in the strange neighborhood and they see this mailman who's got his back turned. He's like in the mailbox. They're like, "Oh, excuse me, sir. Do you know where a good Chinese restaurant is?" And the guy turns around. He happens to be Chinese, and he's like, "Oh, excuse me, honorable Chinaman. No, we're all the Chinese restaurant are." He starts flipping out at Jerry, and he's like, "No, we didn't know. Admit you're a mailman. You know the route."
Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Classic.
I remember. Oh, sorry, Ethel.
No, I just said it's classic. It's never gets old.
Exactly.
So, Trenchy, what have you planned for tomorrow? What time are you on at again?
I'm on at 6 a.m. Hopefully, this tablet has problems charging. This new one I have to use, so hopefully I can make everybody stream and still be able to do my own. But I'm not till 6 a.m., so I should be good.
And Mark, are you doing anything for the stream? Are you taking part in any one stream or?
You're Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, right?
Yes.
Is that the one with Larry Drake?
Yes.
That's a great movie. That's a good pick. What time are you on it, dude?
5 p.m. I think.
Okay. So what time is that for?
That would be like 2 p.m. my time.
Let me check. Deacon posted the schedule in our Facebook chat, so I can pull that up real quick.
I still can't make head or tails of it.
That should be 11 p.m. your time, Martin. Mark should be 11 p.m. your time. I have no idea.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 5
Hold
p.m. because your 12 is my 6. Or wait a minute,
Yeah,
Mark's an hour.
Hold on.
Never mind.
No,
What?
it
Right.
can't be 11, Trenchy, because I'm doing Ghost Watch at 11.
Okay, just to clarify, from 11 to 12, you and Marty are doing Ghost Watch.
Yeah.
At 1 a.m. is horror retrospective. Kara's doing her thing. After that, it's going to be you, Ethel, and then after that is Mark doing Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Gotcha.
I'm at 10 p.m. on
Wait,
Eastern.
you are?
Yeah.
On Eastern Standard Time, yes. This is
Oh,
going by. This is going by your time, Marty.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I got confused.
Right.
Oh, we lost Mark. Ah,
Crap.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, this is again going by Marty and Deacon's time. Then at 2 a.m. their time would be Ethel, then Mark, then Queenie, then Jen's Reviews from the Grave, then The Bell Dam. False Proxy Productions just got squeezed in there. Then it's you, Trenchy, and then I'm doing the after party in the afternoon on November 1st. So
Okay.
that should give everybody a few hours to sleep.
I'll try to make it, dude. I'm going to try to stay for the whole thing, so I don't know how tired I'll be, but I'll try to make it to the after party, man, for sure.
Yeah. Again, it's later that day, so everybody should have time to rest beforehand.
it's the All Souls Jam
Yep.
because it's All Souls Day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who would make my time, but can I run an idea by you guys?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of just putting like a bunch of just random movies in a bag, and then on the stream I'd have like a few people on the stream and then people in the chat, and I pull out 2, and then we could debate. Everybody could vote on which one they like better out of the 2, and then at the end we'll see which one wins. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, you talked about that on your 31 stream, I think, and I think that's a fun idea because you never know what kind of movie you're going to have next to something. It could be, Saw next to, like, Bride of Frankenstein, two things that you would not think to put together, and yet you have to think which one you like better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
You gotta take the trench coat, Trenchy, and you gotta take the videos and you gotta put them on the inside of each sleeve of the trench coat, and then open it up and be like, which one?
Yeah, make it look like you're about to flash someone.
Do it.
Like you're flashing someone or selling bootleg watches on in New York,
Yep. Just yeah. You can be like the bootleg horror tapes seller. Just stuff them all in your coat.
The Trenchy's bootleg bagel films or whatever.
Something like that.
I don't think I have inner pockets though.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to make some then.
You take like double-sided tape or something.
Yeah, just stick like the titles there whenever you do the two things.
Does Deacon think it's just myself and Monty that's going to be on my stream?
It just says you and Monty on there, but I think he's really fluid about what's gonna happen. He's very, I don't know.
Oh well, like
Yeah.
Monty can come on. Like I'd be delighted to have him on, but like if you guys are around, I'd love to have you on my stream. Like I'm not. I just like again. It's co-host, not even I'm hosting. It's just jump on my fucking stream and watch it. Like I don't know.
I heard, like, I'm sorry. I heard you guys were gonna do like a duet of just the two of us, and like you'd be in costume. Like, is this not happening?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Like, I know everything's a little mixed up. Like, I know John was supposed to be on my stream originally, but now I'm at 6 a.m. I don't think that's gonna happen. But,
so again, sorry for jumping across you, Mark. But like, so Andrew, what time is Mark on at 10? According to the thing, sorry.
According to the thing for you, your time, Mark is on from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Okay, so but what time is it for him?
By Eastern Standard Time, that would be
about 10 o'clock my
that
time.
would be 11 to 12.
Okay.
Would that be right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's just Mark. When you said 5, I was like, isn't that usually when I'm kind of live? And I was like, I don't know. The whole time thing just confuses the shit out of me.
Right, because we're all in different time zones. That's the nightmare of it all.
We need like
Yeah,
a standard universal time.
Yeah.
yeah, I got confused because I thought Mark was in Eastern time zone like me, but no, he's not. I keep forgetting Mark's in a different area.
Yeah, he's not West Coast, right? He's like just an hour ahead or behind us.
I'm
Yeah.
3 hours behind you and Trenchy. And
Oh, West Coast then. Mark is West Coast. He's Pacific. We're Eastern.
yeah.
Yeah. Ampro, you're Eastern too, right?
Yep. You and I are in the same time zone.
Yeah, you, me, and Ethel. Gotcha.
It's going to be more confusing after I move. I'm going to be an hour behind of Eastern Standard Time.
So 3 a.m. my time would be, right around 10 o'clock my time. Or it would be right around 10 to 11.
Hey, come here, Mark. I hope I didn't come across as snippy there. Genuinely.
No, you're fine, Martin.
No, honest to God, I must be coming across as a fucking lunatic on the fucking Friendly Fiends chat because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, fair play to Deacon. He's done a fantastic job, but I'm like, what the devil is going on with some of these fucking time slots and stuff?
It is a lot to take in. I can only imagine what Gory has to do to get the creepy channel crawl put together with all of those people, and to have them like posting the links for every subsequent thing. organizing a stream hop like this cannot be easy. Especially as last minute as Deacon is doing this. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't think Deacon thought we were going to have the turnout that we got.
Initially, he was worried that no one would turn up, and now it seems to be the opposite. It was like,
it's because nobody has anything to do on Halloween.
Yeah, COVID. Everyone's just fucking locked in.
Everything's suspended.
They've outlawed Halloween.
Oh, my bad, Ethel.
No, I was just saying they outlawed Halloween. We'll have no trick or treaters. It's sad. I didn't buy any candy this year, so if I get trick or treaters, I'm gonna feel awful. And if they egg me, I deserve it.
We're putting out candy, but my mom's like, well, the people on the news said you gotta put the bags 6 feet apart. I'm like, the bags can't get COVID. We are not putting the bags 6 feet apart from each other.
That's not. That's not how that works.
No, that's it's to stop people from. It's to stop people from simultaneously being close to each other as they're picking up the bags. That's what they're saying.
That's fair. That's fair.
Line them. Let's line them in the driveway. I'm like, we're not lining them in the driveway. What? No.
Oh, I've set up a special booth where, like, I sort of stand behind this radiation-proof thermoplastic barrier, like Dr. Octopus, and I've got the robot arms, and I hand out.
That sounds amazing.
You end up. Ethel, you end up accidentally disemboweling a child trying to give him a goodie bag.
The kids love the kids love the 9 Inch Nails, sunglasses, and Friar Tuck wig. They love it. They love it. But I don't know, crazy times. This is the weirdest Halloween I think I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree with you there.
Definitely.
I know it must be different for you guys overseas. Or at least not those not in America, I should say. I don't know what the politically correct term is. Those not in vibe with the eagle and the stars and the stripes. Our holiday is completely overshadowed with this politics and election season. So it's just like feels like everyone's going through the motions, and we're not really getting the whole experience.
Yep, I've really tried to clamp down and really enjoy the holiday this year because it has been a struggle for me in previous years just because the school system has decided October is the time when we're going to cram you with as much schoolwork as you can possibly, more schoolwork than you can possibly handle. I was having to do like a last minute English project on Halloween my sophomore year, and I had a mental breakdown on November 1st. It was bad. But this year, not only is it on a Saturday, but in spite of the pandemic, I'm freed up so I can actually take my time and enjoy the season with my family. I'm taking the time to watch as many horror movies as I can and just work on things that are going to make me happy. So in spite of the nightmare situation that we're in, I'm trying to make the best of it.
That's all you can do, really.
Yeah.
So I'm just thankful we've got all this technology so that we can all pull together and salvage the holiday and experience it in this different kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think you even I think you even said this at the end of the Vampire Lovers stream when we were just chatting. You had talked about doing the worst witch, and we had talked about the possibility of a stream hop at that point, and you were saying this is basically virtual trick or treating. That's what this is, going door to door.
Yeah. And instead of treats, it's talk and little fun, horror stuff and spooky things, spoopy movies.
Yes.
I'm going to be very interested to see what you guys think of Ghost Watch, because I watched it there recently. My DVD arrived. I watched it and I was taken aback by how well it's held up. I was like, okay, I thought it would have. It was made in 1992. It was made by the BBC, but it has held up exceptionally fucking well. And you can see why the BBC got 36,000 calls of complaint.
Do you want me to tell you what I honestly think of it? Because I've seen it already.
Go on, Mark, what did you think?
I liked it. I honestly did. The actors didn't really come across as actors. You actually bought into the whole, like they were like newscasters.
Oh yeah, the thing was those people, but bar the people, the quote unquote the people in the haunted house, everyone was a professional newscaster or professional TV presenter, and it just like again. I was talking to Deacon about this. The Irish and British kind of public at the time, there was no TiVo back then. There was no fucking record your thing. If you missed the start of the show, you missed the start of the show. You just watched it from like you watched it from like 10, 15 minutes in. You couldn't rewind back. You couldn't go back and see what was happening. So if you didn't get the warning that this was a fictional thing, you were like, oh, it's a real documentary. This is a real investigation into a haunted house, and for the most part, it goes very, very mundane. It's like people making cups of tea and people talking about like, oh, problems with the attic and stuff, and that's what sells it. And then as it goes along, like you see things appear in the background, and I'm not going to say anymore. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just very interested to see what you think.
So in that way, it's like a spiritual successor to the War of the Worlds radio play.
Oh yeah, that's how I describe it. It is the UK's War of the Worlds event. A 18-year-old with the mentality of a 13-year-old killed himself as a result of watching it.
Oh God!
A woman from Cheshire sent in her husband's soiled pants demanding money from the BBC. It left such an. The BBC refused still to this day to show it. They got between 30 to 36 calls of complaint. And it's not perfect, but it still holds up fairly well. And you can see how back in 1992, a lot of people were fucking hoodwinked. And I'm going to be interested to see what you guys think.
All right.
I'll try to make it, man. I am interested.
Yeah. I am going to be fairly busy during the day. I'm just doing stuff with my family. Got a few people coming over in the background in the backyard.
If people can't make it, I won't be offended. I understand everyone has other stuff to do for Halloween. If you can make it, I'd be delighted.
Yeah.
If you go back, if you decide to watch it if you decide to go back and watch it without me, just keep in mind. It is a fictional television show. Don't soil your pants. Don't try and take your own life. It's fictional. It doesn't really happen.
All right.
I don't want 36,000 calls of complaint coming into my YouTube channel. 36,000 dislikes. 36,000 thumbs down.
Yeah. Don't give out your phone number and be like, we're going to take calls during this live stream.
Yeah.
No soiled
Dude, don't do
trousers
that.
in the
Yeah,
van.
don't give people your mailing address either.
My boyfriend shot himself because of your ghost TV show.
Dear Trashed, I hope you have Tide Stick, because you're gonna do it.
Dear viewer, here's a voucher for Huggies. I suggest you fucking invest in them.
And have one of those opening crawls like Insured for Death by Fright. Only every guest gets a baby white.
Oh yeah, the Roger Corman and who was the other guy? Castle.
William Castle. He was the gimmick king.
Well, yeah. If what was it? You get insured for like $500,000 if you die.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go pretty soon, but before you do, you've got me on the William Castle gimmicks thing, so I have something I need to show you, and I have a story to go with it, so I will be right back.
Take your time.
Oh, absolutely. While Anthro's doing that, I just want to say, recently I just watched Matinee with John Goodman, which that's
such a good movie. Mant. Is that the movie? Is that the fake movie people watch? Mant. In that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that movie because it's that's William Castle, basically.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't. I mean, it's essentially the idea, the concept. But what a great movie! And I always watch that around this time of year because it takes place around this time of year during the Cuban Missile Crisis, actually.
Yeah. It's a cool movie, and John Goodman's so good in it. And it's one of those kind of really underappreciated Joe Dante flicks. It's Joe Dante, right, Ethel?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't have the DVD right by me, but I do believe that is a Joe Dante flick. And it also it's got Robert Picardo in it of Star Trek Voyager fame. So
he's like Dick Miller for Joe Dante. He has to be in every one of Dante's movies.
And Dick Miller is in it too.
Yeah. You can't beat Dick Miller.
And it also has what's her face from Casper.
Christina Ricci?
Yeah, no. Wait.
Bill Pullman?
No, she said she, Frenchie.
Oh, my bad.
I could be wrong. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it had... No, she played the Miss Crittendale?
Oh. I'll check it out.
Catherine O'Hara played the evil chick, right?
I might be misremembering this. Hold on. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Hold on. Now I feel.
I could be wrong too. I swore it was her, but I could be wrong. She had a more scratchy voice. Never mind.
But no, if you remember the evil lady who was trying to get the secret, to get the fortune from the Casper movie,
Cathy Moriarty. Her name is Cathy Moriarty. I'm just going to check her filmography.
That's where I messed up. I thought
Corey.
Catherine. I just got the wrong Catherine.
Hey, Ethel, you were right on the money. She played Ruth Corday / Carol.
Okay, I couldn't remember the actress's name. I was trying, and I could not remember. I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah,
Yeah, Cathy Moriarty. Hey, Antro, you're back.
Yeah.
What have you got for us?
All right. So, have you seen the William Castle movie, Mr. Sardonicus?
No.
I've seen clips. I haven't seen the whole thing.
That movie is amazing. I love that movie. But anyway, you can see.
Yeah.
Can you see this? The light. I hate the light.
Is that what I think it is,
Oh,
Anthro?
thumbs up. I see a thumbs up, Tin.
Yeah, these are Mr. Sardonicus punishment poll cards. And when I was doing the classic horror film club at my high school, we showed Mr. Sardonicus, and I printed out punishment poll cards for everyone, and we actually ran the punishment poll at my school, which was amazing. And I think maybe one person voted for mercy. One person.
The funny thing about that movie is there's supposed to be two alternate endings, like one where he gets the good ending and one where he dies, but they never did that. They only filmed one ending where he gets brutally gets his comeuppance.
Yeah, and I love that because William Castle only filmed the bleak ending, and then the studio was like, we don't like this. We want you to film a happy ending. It was like, okay, we can have our cake and eat it too here, so I'm going to film two endings, and we're going to let the audience decide. But he never actually filmed the other ending. He just sort of comes out near the end, and he's like, okay, I'm going to count the audience's things, mercy or no mercy, and he sort of does some fake scribbling on a notepad and pretends to count everyone's stuff, and it always comes out to no mercy.
I'd like to say it's kind of a cool coincidence that you bring Mr. Sardonicus up. Recently, not a close friend or anything, but we follow each other on Twitter. Mr. Lobo on his channel on YouTube just did a opens video, an unboxing for you video, where someone had sent him a Mr. Sardonicus folk card. So I just thought that was fun, and he talked about it for a little bit. But shout out for Mr. Lobo, even though I know he's not watching.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, I absolutely love Mr. Sardonicus. It's my favorite William Castle movie, probably, and I'm hoping to review it at some point on my channel because I think Evil Steve requested that I review it at some point. So.
Oh, I just want to say, hey, Gore. I see you need Gore. I didn't acknowledge you. There you are. I see ya.
Andrew, my friend Anthony sent us both the picture going, it's a Villa Velo, and he is dressed completely as the Crow for Halloween.
Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah. No doubt him were influenced by the Crow then. No doubt.
Yeah. I swear to God, Anthony could talk about fucking him till the cows come home. He absolutely adores the band. He was telling me about.
I should just have a goth metal stream with him sometime. We should just
do, because I think you guys would fucking click really well. Ethel, it's coming up on 4, so I'm going to bow out, but I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a fucking costume by then. If I don't, I'll throw something together.
Just paint your face like Eric Draven and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm a fucking bald crow. No, I'd end up looking like Uncle fucking Fester.
Hey, that could work too, though. That might be fun.
Yeah, find a light bulb and stick it in your mouth. Just be Uncle Fester.
Yes.
I do fucking Furiosa before I do fucking Fester. I'm gonna dust off. Ethel, remember to end before you leave the live stream. End it, because remember what I was saying. That's one thing people always tend to forget when they're starting off. Right, I'll see you guys later.
All
Bye.
Right. Bye.
Thank you for coming.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. I have got to go as well, but it's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's great having you on, Anthro. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Stay frosty, man. It's always
You
good.
too. Bye.
Adios. Always great to have them on. Now
Yes.
we're back at the awkward third screen.
It's the final three.
Yeah, so this is just sort of like a test stream I was doing to sort of get prepared for tomorrow. I didn't want to be like amateur hour and screw up the whole deal.
Right.
Mark's gone full werewolf on us.
That's dope, man.
It's the lichen. The
It
lichen.
says everybody always says that, that we're reacting the howling when it's up on the back of the couch. Spirit, why not?
Hell yeah.
Goes the Roman.
That dog always trying to upstage you. He's as shameless as Chumpkins.
Yes. The funny thing is, I couldn't. The longest time I couldn't get her to be on camera. Now she's like, Dad, I want to be on TV. Put me in.
She wants to be the stream dog.
I'm just gonna have to change her name to Diva because that's what she acts like.
Yeah, so this is my first official stream onto the channel. So far, not bad. It's been pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know if you guys had any topics you wanted to bring up or pop in there. Horror, Halloween, call back to Ghostbusters, even. Who knows?
It's your stream, Ethel. Whatever you want to talk about, that's what we're here for.
Oh, sure. I just thought I'd throw that out there because I know we got going on a bunch of different tangents, and we're talking about tomorrow. Oh yeah, it's a very free form kind of format.
But yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything. So if you guys want to throw something out, I'll talk about it.
All right. Well, I talk about it. I'll bring it back up because of this. All goes back to because of my silly thumbnail. I'll go back to Ghostbusters versus Ghostbusters 2. How does that sit with you guys? You are you all on the train of the first one's the best one, or does the second one sort of offer you more where you got the whole Vigo thing?
I like both, but I'm gonna go with the first one because it was original and you got that magic for the first time. So I gotta pick Ghostbusters 1.
I gotta side with Mark on this. I love Ghostbusters too. I think it's interesting with the ooze and that girl. I think it's the second one where the girl's parka comes to life and attacks her. That was cool, but it's like the first one has so many good lines and better characters, and you got the giant marshmallow man, you got Slimer. You can't really beat that.
I mean, just the way Ghostbusters opened is so iconic.
Yeah.
When the librarian sees the dead body and the ghost in the library, I mean, you can't top that.
You seriously can't. Like that is true.
I like how it sort of fakes. Like I still prefer the first one, but I will say this for the second one: it has the very unique distinction, at least for me, for being a New Year's Eve movie. Like if you
Yeah.
watch the movie, you'll notice that it's right after Christmas because there are still Christmas wreaths here or there. But by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's New Year's Eve, and they're singing the New Year's Eve song. What is this? I can't remember what it's called, but whatever that song you sing after the ball drops and you're trashed and you're drinking your wine and you're having your kiss, that song. So it's always nice. I watch it every year for New Year's Eve.
I try to watch Ghostbusters every year, right on New Year's. But Leroy and Chad just had the best line from Ghostbusters. Ray, when someone asks if you're God, you say yes. That is, I love Winston in that movie. He was actually my favorite Ghostbuster.
That is like everyone's gonna pick that as their favorite Ernie Hudson role, and that's one of my favorite Ernie Hudson roles for sure. But I really liked him in Oz. Like I don't know if you guys have seen that TV show
Mm-hmm.
back with HBO and stuff. But wow, that was pretty cool. It was very gritty, very realistic. It was good. You didn't expect to see that.
Well, I never
I
watched
think-
it. Oh, you
Go
go,
ahead,
Mark.
Richie.
Oh,
I was
no,
gonna say that my favorite Ernie Hudson role would have to be his role as Solomon from the Rebecca De Mornay movie, Hannah Rocks the Cradle.
I've never seen that either. I gotta watch more Ernie Hudson movies, man.
He's not the main star of it, but his role is so good in that role. You will love Right Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
He's one of those actors that it's like you feel like he really should have gotten more starring roles. He's always like a peripheral character, a sidekick character, or like he's in it for maybe 10 minutes at the beginning and 5 minutes at the end. And boy, is it memorable, but you never get him as that leading man. And there's no reason for it because he could have been a leading man.
Oh, there was a reason for it. It just wasn't a good reason. It wasn't a valid reason. You know what I mean?
I think probably the closest thing Ernie's ever got to a leading man was his role as Officer Albright in The Crow.
He was great. We all just watched that earlier this evening. It was weird. I was in the stream watching that with you guys. I had it on DVD, and I swear my DVD ended like 15 minutes before you guys got to the end of the film. I don't know what's going on with that.
I couldn't watch it. I was just following along from memory pretty much. But no, he's great in that movie.
Yeah, that would be the closest thing I've ever seen to Ernie Hudson as getting a leading role in a movie.
Well, he's just as important as Eric Draven. He's just as important.
Yeah, he's the guy who carries that story when Eric Draven isn't on screen. If you honestly go back and think about it, whenever you don't see Eric Draven in an actual scene, Ernie Hudson is there, telling that story.
Yeah. And I love how they kind of contrast the two bonds with the little girl, how they both have bonds with the little girl. I like how they kind of compare and contrast that.
it sort of marries the two storylines together, because you've got the Eric Draven storyline, and then you've got Ernie Hudson's character's storyline, and boom, you've got the kids kind of unite them, and it brings it all together.
Ties it all together. Exactly.
Mhm.
So every time I watch that movie, though, it kills me because, like, I see that kid skateboarding in the rain, and there's so much water, and it's like I used to skateboard, and it's like, oh my God, she's gonna need new bearings. So many new bearings. Oh gosh, where's she gonna get the money for that?
Yeah.
But yeah, but
But-
The Crow is probably one of the best casts. You might not know the names as much. Oh, Mark, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No. What? She?
Oh no, I was just saying.
You said something about somebody being cast.
Oh no, I was just saying that cast is so great. Just all those characters in the movie, from the bad guys to the shop owner to the cop, the little girl, the wife. Everybody's memorable. The drugged up mother. Everybody's so memorable in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say,
Ethel, you were talking about the. No, go ahead.
no, what was it, Mark? I was just going to acknowledge Leroy Green's comment, but go ahead first.
Well, when you were talking about the Crow Stairway to Heaven on Queenie's, when we were all on Queenie's stream, I liked that show. I really did. The only thing I didn't like was the way they did Eric Draven's makeup. It just didn't. It didn't look right to me.
Now, I liked that show too. Like, I will say though, it's got some moments where it's just the writing is kind of. I'm trying to be nice about it, but it's a little cringe. It's a little weak.
Yeah, it's cringeworthy.
But if you get past like the weak writing and sometimes the bad acting, it's an enjoyable show, and they did the thing that the movie didn't do, and they included the Skull Cowboy in some capacity, and they even touched on the story of the Native American who becomes a crow, even though it's a little bit different in the comics. In the series. So like I said in the Queenie stream, if you look in the chat, I'm sure there's a record somewhere. I don't know how this whole thing works, but I did say that it was good, but it was also a train wreck. I mean,
No, you were right on with that.
it's if you like The Crow and you like the story, the atmosphere, and the characters in The Crow, you'll like the show. But you're gonna have to you're gonna have to hear that Seven Circles song a bunch of times, pretty much once or twice an episode. You're gonna have to deal with some cliches. It's a chore sometimes, but
and you're also gonna have to deal with, no Brandon Lee.
No Brandon Lee. But the guy, honestly, the guy they got to play, I feel bad I don't remember his name, but the guy they got to play Eric Draven was actually really good. He's the best in the show.
The thing is, his name is Mark too. He just spells it differently.
There you go.
What does he got, like 2 R's?
No, he spells his with a C in it, whereas I spell mine with a K.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since I watched that. The last time I watched that, I watched it with an X, and Yeah, it's like, why did you put me through this? And I'm like, I didn't remember it was that bad.
I'm suffering, so you have to too.
Mhm.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I mean, I unironically will watch Bucket of Blood.
I heard that was good from Martin.
It's
Bucket
Dick
of Blood
Mills
is actually
in
good.
it, but the movie as a whole is kind of slow.
Ah,
Depends on what you're watching it for. If
that's
you're watching
true.
it for the storyline, yeah, the storyline is slow as hell. If you're watching it for the blood and the guts and the splatter effect, it's right on.
Mhm.
I always feel bad for the cat.
Oh yeah.
The cat I feel for the most in is the cat in Reanimator.
The
Oh
cat in
yeah.
Reanimator is pretty bad. The cat in Necromantic is worse.
How
I haven't
about
seen that one.
I haven't seen Necromantic, but how about the cat in the collector that like slowly melts in the fucking acid?
That was fucked up.
I was like, this is uncomfortable. Like,
The collector is such a grimy movie. You feel like you need a shower afterwards.
yeah, man. I prefer the collection. It's more fun, but I do love the collector, the original.
Honestly, I think the collector took the basic premise of Saw and upped the ante.
Oh, it did.
The,
Definitely
the,
did. The first Saw is great, but yeah, the collector's more.
I mean, the collector had so many elaborate traps in that first movie. You can see that they had obviously gotten influence from Saw, but they were just like, oh no, we're going balls to the wall with this.
Yeah, man. Great villain too. Just great
He
idea for a
was.
villain. Mhm.
Oh, hey, John. I see John Steele
John,
in the chat.
hey.
Honestly, just my my preference. I actually like the collector more than I did Saw.
I might have to side with you on that mark too, as well.
The reason why is because I just like the look of the collector, his mask. Plus, the collector wasn't a little doll. He was an actual, full sized man. If I want to watch a little doll movie, I'll watch Child's Play.
Right. Well, the thing about Saw is I don't have the best history with the Saw movies. Like I liked Saw 1 as a kid and I really liked it and I've seen it since. But I haven't finished the franchise cuz Saw 2 fucked me up as a kid and I refused to watch the rest of it and I just never got around to watching it again. So I've only seen Saw 1 and part of Saw 2.
I stopped after Saw 3, I think.
Mm,
I pretty much
And
stopped at the second one. It's just it felt like they kept coming out. I'm like, how can I keep up with this? It's like every year there's another Saw movie, and it's like, oh, I mean, I know it's one movie a year, but come on, how many movies am I supposed to see?
because he's got like 300 disciples, man. That's all these disciples. And after a while, it's not even fun anymore, I hear. There's like no way to escape the trap. And I'm like, that's bullshit. You should be able to escape the trap. That's the fun part of it. Because
I'm
they
just
have to
waiting to see. I'm just waiting to see Spiral so I can hear Samuel L. Jackson go, "I want to play a game, motherfucker."
Yeah, man. Samuel Jackson and like Chris Rock are gonna. I think they're gonna make something special out of that. I will start watching the whole series eventually, but I might just skip to that one.
I couldn't. I would try. I've tried to sit there and read through all of them, but I just can't because they're just so tedious and it becomes a chore after the first couple.
Hmm.
It's like,
Oh, sorry, Mark.
no, go ahead, Ethel.
I was gonna say, you know what movie I feel like is sort of an inspiration for Saw, but not like directly so. But I get the same vibe from it anyway. Is The Cell? Like you've got somebody in a situation where they're trapped, they got to get out, but you've got to get them out. And I mean, it's not a direct. It just reminds me of it. You know what I mean? In a way.
Honestly, I would actually kind of put the Cell above Saw because the Cell was unique in it, and it's it's the same premise that you're talking about, but instead of being trapped in a house or an abandoned warehouse or something, Jennifer Lopez was that trapped inside the killer's mind with him.
But
So
you've also got that person trapped in the tank of water, or the room that's gonna flood and they're gonna drown. So it's like you've got two people trapped. So it's like this really elaborate scheme of
yeah,
trapping people with a countdown and choices, and it feels like it inspired the hell out of Saw in some way.
like I said, I would actually put the Saw above Saw just because it was something they had never done before. Instead of, like I said, instead of being trapped physically, she was trapped mentally. It was a battle of whose mind is going to be superior in the killer's brain.
Yeah, no, it's like a struggle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, that's the one with Vince Vaughn, right? Vince Vaughn's in it as a cop.
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
Because I remember it was like a decent movie, but then you have Vince Vaughn in there, and he's just like, I don't know, he just didn't work in it for me. I'm just like, no, just get back to her being in the mind. Let's leave Vince Vaughn alone.
Yeah.
You snapped back into the real world, and it's like you want to be back in that world where we're dissecting horses. It's weird.
Yeah.
With the horse slices and the S&M imagery.
Exactly.
But I don't know. It's just the whole premise. It always it felt like Saw took something from that, at least in inspiration. Anyway. I mean, I could be all over the map on that.
I think you're spot on a little bit.
No, you're pretty spot on with that, Ethel.
But I mean, that's not the only film I'd compare that to. I mean, I feel like in the same vein that Pan's Labyrinth movie was a lot like that, you know?
Pan's
yes.
Labyrinth was awesome. I
It's
love
a
that movie.
great-
Different, but
I love the comparison of her escaping to the fictional realm and dealing with the fictional monsters, but then you have the real monsters in the real world with the I forgot what they weren't Nazis, right? They were like Spanish soldiers, I believe.
yeah.
if if I hadn't been able to get Dark Knight of the Scarecrow for my watch tomorrow, I definitely would have gone with Shocker. That I love that movie.
Shocker is great. You know, it's one of those movies I forget it's Wes Craven until I start watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Wes Craven movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, nobody talks about Shocker Raven until they
Very.
get about 2 minutes into it. Holy shit!
No, I agree. It's very underrated.
It's got this interesting feel to it where it's like it's not a slasher film per se. It's more like this science fiction horror than anything, because you've got the whole electrical power deal where he, you know, survives the electric chair and stuff.
Yeah, and everybody always goes, "Well, how did he survive the electric shower?" And I was like, you need to go back and rewatch the movie. It tells you right there. He practices black magic, so that's how."
Yep. It is pretty clearly explained.
Yeah, it's and there's still, everybody always goes, Last House on the Left or uh, Nightmare on Elm Street for Wes Craven movies. The guy did so many more movies than that.
People Under the Stairs, man, underrated as shit. Probably my favorite movie of his, besides Dream Warriors. But People Under the Stairs is amazing.
I always go Serpent in the Rainbow.
I've never seen that one actually.
I wouldn't call it really a horror movie. I would call it a psychological thriller because Wes really delves into these, the history and stories behind voodoo.
It's crazy that movie because some of the producer, I believe, actually got hypnotized, got the voodoo whammy put on him. He was dosed by one of these voodoo practitioners secretly. He didn't know he'd been dosed, and he was just tripping out like crazy and ended up locking himself in his hotel room. He wouldn't come out. It was just a bad scene for the guy.
It was. I mean, but people also forget Wes Craven directed Vampire in Brooklyn.
It's actually there's this really cool series. It was on, I believe, either the Travel Channel or Bravo or one of those channels, and it was hosted by Anthony Stewart Head of TV's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it was a quasi documentary called True Horror, where he actually went to Haiti to find out the roots of voodoo. And if you ever get a chance to see this documentary, I think it might still be on YouTube. It's very good. There's also one for vampires and werewolves and witches. But yeah, he actually went to Haiti, and the film crew got threatened by Haitian mobsters and gangs. And they had like a voodoo cult was trying to ransom money from them. It was crazy.
Holy shit.
It's weird to think that like Anthony Stewart Head, this guy from Man-Child and from Buffy, is just in Haiti trying to do this documentary, and he's meeting with all these shady criminal types and voodoo practitioners.
Oh, yeah, the dude from Repo. I don't know why that's always the movie I think of him from, but yeah.
Yeah, he played Giles in Buffy.
The British guy.
Oh,
Yeah, the dork with the glasses.
The librarian.
He was the teacher, right? Like he was like the old dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the librarian. He was Buffy's watcher.
Yeah, I know now.
If you're from Britain, he was also on this show Man Child, which was a comedy. It was sort of like a 2.5 Men kind of deal, only without the kid.
That's
Maybe sort of like Platypus Man, if anyone remembers that. That sort of fell down the memory hole.
Don't
You
remember
watched
that
TV.
one.
It's big in the 90s. It was on Fox affiliates usually. Platypus Man.
I've
Nope.
never heard of
I can't
that.
say that I remember that one.
Yeah, there's a sitcom.
Not ringing any bells.
This guy, he was basically a player, womanizer. He had a roommate who had a dog who kept naming it after different girls he was in love with at the moment.
No, I've never seen
Reaver, you don't remember it?
it.
The main character had a TV show.
No, again, if I had seen it, I think I'd remember it.
It didn't last very long. That's one of those shows that, like, it didn't do a full season. It was sort of there for a while, and then, oops, where'd it go?
How
All right.
did the platypus get into all that?
Yeah, that's it. But here's something we can discuss since it's us three. Who is the best TV vampire you ever saw?
TV vampire. Oh, you guys wouldn't like any of my answers. I got some of those cheesy.
Go for it, Trenchy. We're not going to judge you.
Yeah, do it, man. Do it up.
I still kind of like this show, even though it went downhill. But I was really big into the Vampire Diaries, and I always liked the character Catherine Pierce. I always thought she was an interesting character, because what happened was she was this normal girl in the 18th century, but then the first, pretty much the Dracula of that universe decided he was going to murder her and shit for some ritual, and he killed her family, so she ran away and became a vampire, and it's pretty interesting. She's pretty badass.
Vampire Diaries was great. I like the Vampire Diaries actually.
I liked it. I like how she became Queen of Hell in the end. How she took over Hell. I thought it was pretty funny.
Ethel, care to give us your favorite TV vampire show?
Well, I would say, I was a big fan of the Buffy series and the Angel series, so I'm usually inclined to pick James Marsters, just because I liked his vanishing British accent, yet reappearing. Sometimes he'd have it, sometimes it would just disappear. Where'd it go, man? Where'd the Cockney go?
Spike was definitely a unique character for Buffy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little bit older than Buffy. Forever Night.
I've never heard of that.
I thought about Forever Night. I also thought about Dark Shadows, picking Barnabas Collins, but
Nick Knight was, to me, Nick Knight being a vampire cool as hell. I always loved his look, and because he went vamp, he didn't just get the elongated fangs. He got the weird colored eyes, and you could just see the rage in his face.
I liked the blend of cop procedural and vampire gothic. I wouldn't call it horror, but whatever you'd call it, suspense. I
would call it a detective story mixed with a Hammer horror movie.
And
because
I like
you got the goth gothic kind of vampire lore that Hammer was built on,
Mhm.
but you also got the detective side of the story as well, and it just blended so well.
I like that he was so tortured too, like he was that classic tortured vampire. He's like, he doesn't want to be a creature of the night. He wants to be a normal human being, you know?
Yeah. You should, Trisha, you should definitely look up Forever Night. You will like it.
I bet I would. I like a lot of vampire shows like Dark Shadows, of course. I like that, and Buffy, of course, and I like True Blood when that was on. And Being Human, the UK one was really good.
I liked True Blood, but I couldn't stand any of the vampires in it.
Oh, dude, you didn't like Eric or Bill? You didn't like
No.
William?
No. Lafayette was my favorite character.
Of course, you gotta go with Lafayette.
I got a question. What did you guys think of that Van Helsing TV show they had on Sci-Fi Channel?
Oh, I started it and I was like, I was kind of into it, and then I just kind of fell off. I didn't think it was horrible, but it didn't really keep my attention too long. But it was cool.
I liked the concept they were going for, a female Van Helsing. But honestly, I like the movie Van Helsing better.
I agree with you guys. I bought it on DVD before I ever saw it on television because at the time I didn't have the cable, I had just internet. So I saw it at Walmart. So I picked it up because it was really cheap, and I'm like, oh, Van Helsing. Oh, it's like his daughter or something. Oh, I have to watch this. And I bought it, and I'm like, this show wants to be The Walking Dead so bad, and it just can't be it. And it's like, if it would just be a vampire show and not try to be The Walking Dead, it would have the special sauce. And it's just so close. It just doesn't have it.
It was like trying to be The Walking Dead and the Resident Evil movies at the same time.
I did appreciate the male nudity it had in it very briefly. I didn't expect that for a Sci-Fi Channel. Appreciate it. Nice buns on the male co-star there. Very very appreciative.
All right, and here's one for you two. Out of all the horror movies and shows that you guys have seen, which character do you feel did not deserve the way they were killed? And it doesn't have to be strictly movies. It can be TV. Who do you think didn't deserve how they got taken out in a movie franchise or a TV franchise?
Oh, let me think about that.
That's tough. Because that's like, oh wow.
I'll give you my two. Oh, and the one should be fairly out. The other one, I didn't think he deserved to go out the way he did. Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 6. After she carried Halloween's 4 and 5, she did not deserve to go out the way she did.
Either way is insulting. Either way they did it. I do prefer the producer's cut the way they do it, but either way is still insulting.
My other one is from The Walking Dead, and it was Abraham. It is the night that you first meet Negan.
Ah ha ha. But Negan needed that shit though. He needed that.
Negan to me is the ultimate in villainry. I mean, the guy is phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Okay, I think I got my two kind of stemming off of yours, because I got another Walking Dead one that I think was bullshit. Beth, man. Beth did not deserve to be like killed that unfair. They like just got her back. They worked their ass off to get her back. And she's all badass now, and then they just kill her off and just ruin that potential. I liked Beth. I don't care. People hated Beth. I liked Beth. Fuck that shit.
Oh man, everything I think of doesn't fit. Oh, it's awful.
No, just tell us who you think, Ethel. It's not about fitting. Just something you saw, a character, characters you thought deserved better.
All right, I'll tell you this. Doctor Who, when they killed off David Tennant, what was that about? They had this big build up over the TV movies, or whatever you call them, the specials, and over a couple episodes where they're like, oh, the Doctor's song is ending. Oh, his time is ending. And then they just end it because he takes the guy's place in the radiation booth. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I agree.
What's so anticlimactic? What is that?
Yeah, that was, I didn't watch a whole lot of Doctor Who, but I remember that episode. And I was just like, they gave this show that big a build up, and they're just. You're up there. You're kind of left there like you were caught in a circle jerk.
Dude, I got another one. My dude, fucking Stannis off Game of Thrones, just left there by the tree, and then Brienne finishes him off. That was bullshit. It's like Stannis deserved better, man. Fuck that shit.
I think if everybody who died in that show pretty much deserved it, especially Joffrey.
Oh, Joffrey got his.
Joffrey got that. I never did like Joffrey, that little fucking maggot.
Oh, he was a little shit. And then Ramsay comes along, and it's like, oh my god, this is an even worse shit. And then he gets killed brutally. And then Euron comes in, and I haven't seen the last season, but I hope he gets killed brutally.
I got another one. I got one. Not horror, not a movie, but science fiction, so close enough. Quantum Leap. Sam Beckett never gets home. What?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. They had to die, but just a character you thought deserved better than what they got.
I watched this guy for five seasons travel through time, making everybody's life better, and like having all sorts of horrible stuff happen to him. Like he gets shock treatment in a mental institution. He gets beat up. He gets all this sorts of stuff happens. He leaps into Lee Harvey Oswald, or for crying out loud, all this horrible stuff, and then he doesn't get home. Like, well, he meets time/God, and he still doesn't get to go home. What?
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
I've never watched Quantum Leap, but that's bullshit.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say, or like when they 86 Jerry O'Connell from Sliders, but they just made him disappear and had some other dude take his place. Oh, this is Quinn now.
I think the reason that happened was because Jerry O'Connell was getting big in Hollywood. So, if he's not going to be available, you gotta do something. But no, I see your point there. It's just odd to see someone that that was playing a character you liked, then all of a sudden he's replaced.
Like, if they were going to do that, what they should have done is they should have killed him off proper. They should have had him actually die. Like, okay, there is no Quinn anymore. He's dead. It's tragic. Just like when they killed off Arturo, which, was sad, but that actually worked for the series. That's why I wouldn't include that. And also it's sci-fi, so I really shouldn't include it anyway. But yeah.
Right.
But it wasn't. It didn't have to just be horror based. It was just a character you felt, deserved better. To me, Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk deserved more than what he got.
Yeah, that was a total raw deal. He ends up dying. What is
Mhm.
that? And it was he falls from a helicopter. Spoilers. He falls from a helicopter. You can't kill the Hulk that way.
Yeah, it's. That's one of those. Are you really fucking? You see it and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? That's the Hulk. The more you hurt the Hulk, the better the Hulk gets. It's so. But it was again. It didn't have to be someone in a show that was horror based. It was who you felt that deserved better than what they got.
I thought we were under the strict horror rules because it was like Halloween time, trying to conform to the theme.
No, because Ghostbusters wouldn't be a horror movie theme. Ghostbusters to me is just a fucking diehard laugh a minute to me. I can't. You can't watch Ghostbusters and go, that is the scariest thing I've ever seen. You look at Ghostbusters and you go, that is the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen.
I don't know. I think Ghostbusters could scare the shit out of some kids. Fucking the demon dog and the library ghost and shit.
Ghostbusters too, when they're in the sewers and they have all those heads on a pike and the ghost train. That part was legitimately scary. Like, I remember watching that when it was first out on VHS, and like I didn't expect it to be like that. So like I'm watching and I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. It's not quite like the first one, but oh yeah, this is fun. Oh, they're in the sewer. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I bet they're gonna see more pink slime. Okay, this is taking a different turn.
Yeah, no, the heads on spikes in part 2 was great. I have a hard time associating Ghostbusters as a horror movie.
I get that.
I classify it as science fiction, but it slips in because it's got ghosts, and anything with ghosts is like automatically horror. Like you'd put Frighteners in there, or you'd put like maybe the Casper movie, but like not really because it's not. But
I think you would probably have to put House in there before you would put Casper in there.
I'd put House in there.
Oh,
Because House is a whole haunted house movie. So to me that it's okay. Here's something else. Best haunted house movie that you guys have seen. Since we're talking horror and we want to keep it within the horror theme, best haunted house movie you guys have seen from any decade.
I already got mine. It's gonna be generic, but it's Poltergeist. I gotta go with Poltergeist. A tree almost eats a kid. The ghost summon a fucking tornado. When do you see ghosts summoning tornadoes? You never see that shit. It's amazing.
Poltergeist is not a generic answer. It's a good answer because Poltergeist is an awesome movie.
It is.
Poltergeist is very good. I'd go with Poltergeist. I might also go with, for an alternate, Amityville Horror. And if I were not going to choose that, I would choose the Japanese movie House, just because it's absolutely off the walls crazy, but also, a horror movie, sort of.
I'm
Love
gonna
House.
give you. I'm gonna give you two that will probably shock you. One, early '70s, the Dunwich Horror.
I've never heard of it.
Ethel's seen it. I can tell by her reaction. It's a great movie. It's Paranormal Activity about 30 years before Paranormal Activity.
That's based off an H.P. Lovecraft story.
It is, and it's just a phenomenal story.
Fun fact about that, just relating to it, is in Fallout 3, there's a building you can go to called the Dunwich Building, and if you go there, it is scary as I know it's just a game, but that building is scary as shit. There's like a creepy statue in there that's very H.P. Lovecraft, and if you go in that building, you can hear all sorts of spooky sounds, like put your headphones on and turn your volume up and have nothing else on and go in that building, and it will creep you out, and you're like, I'm playing a video game and I'm getting kind of creeped out. I'm gonna go back out to DC, back out to the wasteland. I don't want. No Dunwich building.
Now, Trinity, my second answer is going to be generic. Gotta go House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price.
Oh hell yeah, man! That's a classic.
I cannot emphasize such. Vincent Price was a part of my childhood. I think I watched Vincent Price more than I did the Universal Monster movies.
He was in so much,
Yeah, he was. He was in movies up until he died at what, 98?
He's in movies. He was in television. He was Egghead on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always loved that role. Just all the egg puns. It's like, how many egg puns can you squeeze in there? It's like Catwoman, how many cat puns?
Yeah.
But no, Vincent Price is great. So House on a Hill. That's a classic horror, haunted house horror movie.
Yeah, it's always one of my favorite movies, especially around this time of year.
Can't blame you. It's a good one.
And public domain, so easily available. Very, very, very user friendly as a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Leroy Green, he wants to add House 2. Even though you mentioned House, I'd like to mention House 2. Good movie. Also like to say, House 2 also available on a double DVD set with House 1. So if you collect DVDs, there's a cool double DVD set where you get both. That's like, why wouldn't you? Just do it. It's like that.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to get the other.
Yeah.
You got it. Anytime I can boost DVD sales, I'm just going to mention DVDs and boost them. Collect them. Don't let them disappear. Save the DVDs. Don't forget to take the flyer. Save the clock tower.
Oh shit. But yeah, man, you're gonna find this weird, but I always like I like watching House on Haunted Hill and Psycho together, the original Psycho, because I feel they have similar vibes. They both have that great atmosphere to them, and they both have such memorable characters that you feel sympathy for, but you also hate, in like Vincent Price and Anthony Perkins' character. I don't know. That's just me. I'm a little weird like that, but I like watching those two together.
No, I can totally see that because if I have the time, I usually watch Psycho first and then House on Haunted Hill. Just because
Oh,
just because Anthony Perkins is Norman Bates.
Mhm.
Forget Michael, forget Freddy, forget Jason. Norman Bates is scarier than all of them.
Because he is actually mentally ill. He's actually very realistic character. You know, you could actually meet a guy like this and probably be friends with a person like this and not even know their whole
well,
shit.
it's actually interesting you'd say that, Trenchy, because Norman Bates was based off of real life murderer and corpse collector Ed Gein.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, Mr.
Christopher
Gein.
Plainsfield.
Which
I know Ed Gein.
I've probably mentioned this before. I feel like I mention this anytime I get a chance to, because it's blown away. He's inspired so many characters. You know, Leatherface, Norman Bates, Buffalo Bill. Yeah, it's just a messed up story. There's a great documentary on Ed Gein. There's also a great film made about Ed Gein called Ed Gein. It was made like in 2002, I believe, or somewhere around there.
Is that the one with Kane Hodder?
I don't remember Kane Hodder being in it.
Because Kane, you know, I remember they made one that was there was an Ed Gein that was made, and Kane was playing Ed, and I was just like, that doesn't work because Kane was Ed Gein in real life was such a small man.
Yeah,
And
no,
old.
it was an older fella who was playing Ed Gein.
Yeah,
Actually, I might be able to look it up.
Ed Gein in real life was like he was an old guy. He kind of was on the outskirts, but people trusted him because he always, you know, he always was helpful in the neighborhood. He was like a trustworthy human being. People liked
Yeah,
him.
and everybody thought he was kind of strange, but they just, oh, that's weird, Ed. You know, he'd say things that sound a little off, but it's harmless.
Yeah, and that's why he got away with it for so long was because, you know, everybody trusted Ed because, you know, yeah, he was strange, but he would, you know, if anybody ever needed help, there was Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the local handyman. You know, you had a broken fence, he'd fix it for you. You know, things like that. It came out in 2000. 2000.
I think I haven't seen it, but I've seen it around. I haven't actually watched it.
It's one of those movies that had a deal with Blockbuster where like they just overstocked the hell out of it. Like if you went into a Blockbuster in 2000 or 2001, you would see an entire wall and it's just nothing but Ed Gein movies. You'd think it was like the biggest budget movie ever, but it's not.
I actually remember. I actually miss Blockbuster. I really do.
Yeah, there's one left. There is one left in some weird ass area.
But
It's like
Blockbuster always had everything, especially in horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Their horror movie section was as big as their new release section, and you could sit there and go, you know, A to Z and pick out what you want.
before I had a local Blockbuster, we had the Home Vision Video, and that was a sort of smaller chain. I think they were only like in New England, but they had a pretty decent selection of horror. They had like 3 shelves, so you like go through, and they might only have 1 or 2 copies of a movie. So like if it was popular, it was gone. But you get there, you'd rent it. you'd have your choices. You'd have your Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You'd have your Nightmare on Elm Street. You'd have all your basics. You'd have your Reanimator over here. You'd have your Universal Monsters over here. Just to go back to that Ed Gein movie, Steve Raisbeck was the fellow that played Ed Gein in that. That's
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense because that guy is pretty old. So yeah, I could understand that one. But casting Kane Hodder as Ed Gein, just no.
He's too imposing. There's a reason they
Yeah.
cast him as Jason.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The movie was decent enough, but it just Ed Gein was so small, and in real life, to see Kane, who's a big, huge motherfucker. I mean, like I said, Kane is about 60 pounds heavier than I am, and is built like a brick wall. Ed Gein was never that big.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, Leroy asked if we've seen any of the Psycho sequels, particularly Psycho 2. Yeah, absolutely. Dennis Franz was in that of NYPD Blue. There's also a cool version of Psycho 2 you can get if you go to Riff Tracks. They actually did a riff of Psycho 2, which is really funny. So, yeah, if you like Psycho 2, you like making fun of movies, check that out.
I've seen Psycho 2. I liked it. Wasn't quite as good as the original, but it has one of the most memorable kills in the franchise. When Norman sticks the blade right through you just get the blade right through the back of the head, and I'm like, yes, Norman, my man.
I like the bit with the notes at the diner, and Norman he gets the notes and he like flips out, and then they can't find the note, and you're watching it and you're like, well, is the note really there? Did he imagine it? I always like that bit.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, yeah, I mean, the Psycho 2 was so good, but I think the reason why it didn't quite work for me as good as the original did was the black and white setting was perfect for Psycho. I think I think color really did hurt, the franchise. But where I didn't like it was Olivia Hussey as Norman's mom. She's a great actress, and I loved her in Black Christmas. I really did. But I honestly think the lady from The Conjuring did a better job in Bates Motel than Olivia Hussey did.
Oh, Vera Farmiga. I haven't seen Psycho 2, but Vera Farmiga in Bates Motel, she is a force to reckon with, man. She's a really great actress, and she really captured that role.
She did. If I have to pick, roles of Norma Bates, I'm going to go with Vera over Olivia anytime. Because she just, to me, Vera in Bates Motel, she kind of reminds you of Annie Wilkes in a way. On one side of the coin, she's so motherly and loving, and wants to take care of Norman. But then she flips the script, and you see just how controlling she really is of everything Norman does. And Olivia Hussey in Psycho 2 was just batshit crazy 24/7.
I really love that weird tension in Bates Motel. Like, you knew either one thing was gonna happen. Either I always saw it as this, and I know it was kind of different, but either Norman was gonna end up accidentally killing Norma or killing her on purpose and then keeping her around, or they were gonna bang. That's how I always saw it. That's what the tension was leading to on my end. I'm like, okay.
Honestly, if they could have got away with it, I think they probably would have done both.
True that.
I mean, because that show was just so far out there. I mean, honestly, you won't kind of feel bad for Norman because because like I said, his mom is the nurturing mother figure, and then the next minute, she's just Norman can't go take a leak without his mom being right there.
And then there's moments where he's like that. It's interesting because then there's moments where he's like overbearing to her and she's trying to get away from him. It's kind of interesting how they kept switching roles.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not a healthy relationship for anybody.
Not, I agree.
Yeah, no, I would say it's probably the antithesis of a unhealthy parent-child relationship, the Norman mother relationship.
Okay. Let me ask. Here's one. Who best villain in a TV show or sci-fi horror movie? It can be any. It doesn't have to be horror. It can be sci-fi, action. You name it. Sky's the limit.
So it's the best villain you can think of, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Best villain. Let me see. There's a lot I love, so this is a little hard. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it isn't. Trust me, it's not one of those because even I'm having a hard time just picking out my top, 2 or 3 that I go, oh, when you see that character, he's a villain. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I will go first. Here are my top 3 villains. Number 3 is Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh yes, I give you that.
I cannot. I mean, as much as as much as everybody hated Negan, when that guy walked onto a screen, you just knew that was a villain. The first minute you see Negan before he starts going to town on everybody, his presence just told you that holy shit, this guy is here for business. Number 2 is Bill Paxton's character from Near Dark.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Bill Paxton's character from Near Dark. It was phenomenal. This one is going to shock some people. Matthew McConaughey's character from Frailty.
I haven't seen it. I got to see it.
You should, Trenchy. You'll like it.
Everybody I hear builds it up, man. They've been building it up. I will watch it eventually.
You'll like it because it's unlike any Matthew McConaughey role that you've seen. He does that good in it.
I don't know. My favorite Matthew McConaughey role so far is Mud. I really loved his performance in Mud. So you have to check out that one.
You know who I'd kind of pick? I think it's not sci-fi or horror or anything, but Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman from Die Hard.
That guy was an iconic villain.
Like, I can't think of anybody that's like more of like this quintessential bad guy, sleazebag. Like, he's not even an honest terrorist. He's just doing it all for money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to double cross everybody at the same time. He's just, what a dirtbag. And
I love Hans Gruber or Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber, but you can put Alan Rickman in any villain role and he made it work. That guy was such a great actor.
I agree.
Oh, he was great in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
I also would like to put Bandora from Super Sentai Zoo Rangers out there. That's sort of an odd pick. That's more of like a sci-fi children's show kind of pick. But hey, you know, she was trying to kill kids. She was literally trying to kill people. She was trying to take over the world. That's pretty damn evil. Plus all the monsters and all the zaniness. And the Bandora song. You can't. Any villain with a theme song. I don't know.
Leroy brought up a good one in the chat. Kurgan from Highlander.
Oh yes, Kurgan.
Clancy Brown was the man for 80s villains, I think.
I've narrowed it down to 5. I could choose, but
Let's hear them.
Darth Vader, of course. You know, his presence just there, and there's a reason why Star Wars hasn't been able to have a villain as good as him or imitate him. They tried with Kylo Ren, even though Kylo Ren, I like what they did with that, and they didn't end up making him a villain because that wouldn't work. But yeah, Vader. I have Light from Death Note because that dude was fucking psychotic and wanted to be a god. It's like I hated fucking Light, and he was a brilliant villain. Mommy and Daddy from People Under the Stairs because just for the cruelty alone and just for the that just the entertainment value. One's dressed up in a gimp suit with a fucking shotgun, and the other one's just fucking psychotic, and it's brilliant to watch. Rumpelstiltskin from Once Upon a Time. I always liked the character. I loved the idea of this dude just manipulating people from behind the scenes. And even when he loses his powers, he's just as dangerous as the people with powers. I thought that was cool. And my 5th one, I have to go. I had him on the tip of my tongue. Fuck, I forgot. But that was my 4 for now. I forgot my 5th one.
I think if I'm going to go anime-based villains, I'm going to have to go with Rao from Fist of the North Star.
That's one I gotta see.
He's
There's a
just
lot.
he's just a mountain of a man. I mean, just he takes no prisoners. His whole thing is world conquest.
Right.
He believes that he was sent to be the ruler of the new world. That heaven has chosen him to lead man.
Interesting.
If I'm going science fiction, that's where it gets a little tricky. You know, I would probably go Vader, but I think I'd have to put Emperor Palpatine just a little bit higher than Vader.
I give you that. Because Palpatine, he's not as iconic, but he was pulling the strings the whole time. He is the true evil mastermind.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you can
Go ahead.
You can go.
I was just thinking, anime. I didn't even occur to me. Anime. I'd probably take Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z and put him in there, just because there's something like horrific of turning people into candy and sweets and foods, and then you're eating them, and you're just doing it all for fun, and like he has no concept of like what he's really doing other than just having fun.
I always felt bad for Boo
If you look at the very first inclination of Majin Buu, that Majin Buu is very childlike. You know, he has no concept of good, evil, whatnot. To him, it's a game.
Yeah.
It's
but
like
then you start to fracture each, inclination. He gets further and further down the evolutionary scale, and you start to see how sinister he truly is.
because the original Boo, when he was just Kid Boo, or maybe it was when he was the skinny Boo, he absorbed that fat Kai, the good-natured, friendly, helpful, and it changed his personality enough to make him less of a threat, even though he was still pretty much the most powerful thing that there was at the time. Which, the thing about the character is it's a villain, and it's like you don't want him to be a villain because in a way the character is so charming and fun. And then you actually get to have your cake and eat it too, because they split him from his evil half, which is when you end up with like the skinny gray Boo. And so you get to actually have the good character after all. So I don't know.
I love them in GT, man.
Go ahead, Trinity.
I said I love them in GT. I know GT was a train wreck, but having Boo just hang out with Hercule and stop crimes and shit, that was fun. I don't care. That was fun.
If you think about it, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they bring him back in Super. He doesn't get much action, but we get Boo back in Super.
Oh, I know. They were gonna put him in the tournament, but then he didn't pass the
He
fucking written test. And I'm like, that's bullshit, writers. Come on.
Well, he fell asleep.
Yeah, he falls asleep.
Yeah, but why does he have to take a written test to get in there? Come on, writers. You just don't want Boo to have, be in the show and shit. That's not fair.
If you actually think about it, though, for a villain, Boo has one of the more interesting story arcs. Mm-hmm. Because when he's hatched, again, he's very innocent and very, playful, and and you see him take right up with Hercule, like Hercule is, because Hercule himself is very dorky and childlike himself.
Mhm. Happy Halloween, Corey.
It's not until after the dog is killed that you see Majin Buu start to, you know, it fractures him.
And then he pulls that touched by an angel moment and brings the dog back to life.
Yeah, but the damage is done at that point. It just, you know, he brings the dog back, but to him, the dog wasn't innocent, and the fact that somebody could kill the dog, just I guess you could say it's kind of the way Toriyama saw the world, because if mankind could kill kill a dog, you know that Majin Buu he's like, well, if they can do that, then humanity doesn't deserve to exist, and that's when you start to see him. It like I said, it fractures his psyche.
Well, it was that coupled with his friendship with Mr. Satan, Hercule, that caused the split in the first place. You know, he didn't know what like a real friend was before. He just had Bibbidi, and then he had Bobbidi controlling him. And as we saw in the series, Bobbidi was really mean and nasty to Boo the whole time, treating him like a moron and just being generally a douchebag the whole time. So like he meets Hercule, and Hercule's trying to kill him the whole time, but at the same time teaches him the value of friendship. And I don't know, that was some of the fun, the funnest moments in that series was that whole friendship arc with Hercule, Mr. Satan. I like the gag with the toothpaste. Every time I forget when I'm watching that about the toothpaste, where Boo's on the toilet, and then like he's taking a dig, and then they zoom in real close, and you think it's a turd, but he's actually squeezing toothpaste on a toothbrush. That gets me every time. That's like my favorite Dragon Ball Z moment because it's just so funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but DBZ was actually like people can like kind of downplay it as look, it's just these shirtless guys glowing and fighting, but there was more than that going on. There was actually well written characters and good story arcs, and yeah, 3 or 4 episodes that was dedicated to people just powering up and punching each other a little bit, then powering up again. But there was more going on than that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get in the situation where it's like, all right, we're 2 episodes in and they're still not at the fight. And then, like, you get the big special effects moment and it's just a still picture and they're kind of wiggling the cell around a little bit. But, whatever.
I think if you want to talk about best villain story arcs, Vegeta has the best villain story arc in DBZ.
Yes, the redemption of Vegeta, man, is great because him and Piccolo are 2 of my favorite characters, which is weird because the director loves Vegeta and hates Piccolo, the creator. So,
yeah.
But they have probably the best redemption arcs out of the 2. And Boo's got a pretty good redemption arc as well.
I think Vegeta is another case of that having your cake and eat it too. They created this character he's just such a bastard, but he's a bastard in an endearing way where it's like, okay, I hate this character because he's just evil, but he's cool. Damn it.
Vegeta, is, and everybody says, "Oh, it's his attitude," but remember Vegeta is the prince of all Saiyans, so he's gonna have that, like that "I'm better than you" attitude. You know, that's the way he was raised. What was that?
He's the James Dean.
Basically.
And the thing is, it's like there is no really perfect character on this show. Look at Goku. Goku would put the world in danger just to have a good fight. He don't give a fuck about people, really, if you think about it. He just wants a good fight.
Yeah, because he challenges Beerus the Destroyer to a fight. And Beerus goes, if you lose, I'm gonna destroy your planet. And Goku's like is practically fucking drooling at the thought of fighting someone with that kind of power.
Or the Android Saga where they're like, Trunks comes back. He's like, the world becomes an apocalypse. We should stop this now. And Goku's like, no, let's go all train. And when they come, we can have a good fight. And I'm like, God damn it, Goku.
Or like when he gives Cell the sensu bean right before he fights Gohan. I want him to be at his best.
Fucking Goku.
But I loved how when you first see Beerus in Super and Goku and Vegeta are having that little talk about, Bulma and Chi-Chi, and they're, Goku's teasing Vegeta's all, boy, Vegeta, you're a prick most of the time, but let somebody hurt Bulma and you're kind of a stand-up kind of guy. And he goes, of course, you idiot. We're both attracted to strong old women. It's like, again, there, like you said, Trenchy, there are no perfect characters in that show. It's just so, it's just so bizarre. And I mean, the weakest character in the show, Krillin, ends up with Android 18. And you're like, how does that happen?
Well, because he didn't want to blow her up. He destroyed the remote to explode her, and that meant a lot. A girl takes notice when a guy doesn't just activate her destruct mechanism.
Doesn't explode her into a million little pieces?
That's
Is that
like
what
that's
girl nowadays?
the flowers to Android.
Poor Yamcha got fucked over, man.
He got
Yamcha
nothing.
doesn't get shit.
He didn't even
what?
get Bulma.
No, he got Bulma stolen from him from the fucking villain, by an asshole, a very likable asshole, but still an asshole.
Circling back to GT, a lot of people like to talk trash about Dragon Ball GT, and yeah, it has a lot of problems. But I will say it did the one thing that they never did again, was it brought Kid Goku back. It gave us the gift of Kid Goku, and that is the best Goku, is Kid Goku, in my opinion.
Dragon Ball was awesome until I was pointed out that like they show his dick, and now I'm kind of hesitant to rewatch Dragon Ball.
They show his dick in Dragon Ball as well.
They do?
Not in DBZ, but in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, in Dragon Ball. I never knew that.
In Tree of Might, I believe you see Gohan's wee-wee at some point because he pees on Krillin's head.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But it's such a small part of like the show.
Right.
Figuratively, that is, not literally. It's not like it's.
Yeah.
It's just. But yeah, no, it's brief, and it's not like a thing. It's just Japanese. It's a cultural thing, you know. It's customary for them to bathe nude with each other. It's a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
But no, it's just the personality of Kid Goku and the humor that comes along with all the scenarios he gets into.
Mhm.
That's what made Dragon Ball. That's what makes GT good and not
Yeah.
unwatchable.
Since we're on anime, top 3 anime shows that you can sit there and watch over and over.
Ooh, shit.
I got this Cowboy Bebop, Spice
Which
and
one?
Wolf, and Squid Girl.
Heard of the first 2. Haven't heard of the last one.
Oh, Squid Girl is hilarious. It's basically it's this girl who's a squid. She comes out from the depths of the ocean to conquer the earth for all the pollution and destruction they've wrought onto the ocean. And instantly when she gets there, she breaks the wall of a beach house. So it's basically a ramen bar, the Lemon Beach House. And in order to fix the damage she causes to the wall, she gets a job at the ramen house, serving the ramen, and all sorts of zany things happen. And the whole while, all she wants to do is conquer the earth. And in the English or in the English subs, there's all these fun squid and fish puns every 5 seconds. And you got to check it out. It used to be available on Hulu. It used to be on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it still is, but it's funny. You won't regret it. Just expect comedy.
Sounds a lot like Devil is a part-timer.
Kind of. It's very much like a slice of life, but
Mhm.
it's got this weird, like, oh well, you know, she's a squid and she's invading, but she doesn't invade. She just works at the ramen house.
Yeah.
There's this cool episode with creepy dolls where they're like a Teddy Ruxpin thing where they're animatronic and they talk, and she doesn't understand that concept because she's from the ocean, so it freaks her out, and it's got this whole Child's Play vibe, and there's a cool Johnny Depp reference in the episode, so that's
Oh, nice.
I have seen One Punch Man, Leroy. It's a great anime.
Oh, yeah, man.
My top 3, and this is one I've had to think about for a while. Because it was one of the first like animes that I saw. I have to go Ninja Scroll. And I'm not even talking about the series. I'm talking about the first original movie. But the series, I really did like too. It was so good. And the music for that series is phenomenal.
that movie was great though. Like
Yes, but
the way everything is framed in that, the way that they've got that laid out, and the artistic choices, it's very dramatic. I like the thing where they're in the trees, hopping from the trees, and then he's got the wire. That's just cool.
and then the other 2, one you're not gonna is no surprise because I just mentioned it a couple of seconds ago. Fist of the North Star, the series was a big part of my childhood, my teenage years. Today, I have the whole series, the live action movie, the characters. the toys. Just a great series. I mean, it's basically Mad Max in an animated series. And then the other one that shouldn't be a surprise if you know me is Vampire Hunter D. Just that those two movies together are just tell the perfect story.
No,
I
that
think
makes sense.
I think out of all the animes I've seen, Vampire Hunter D, the two movies that go together, tells the most complete story of any of the animes I've seen.
Those are good picks.
Yeah, no, I like Vampire Hunter D. Even though it's slightly perverted, I'd probably throw Wicked City out there too. That one's pretty cool, and it's got some funny moments in it too. I like the perverted old man in it. That guy makes me laugh, even though he's a total scumbag.
I was about to say Wicked City slightly perverted.
Alright.
That movie's got an X rating.
Well, hey, I did see that on Sci-Fi Channel, so I'm sure it was heavily edited.
If they showed it on Sci-Fi, you know it was heavily edited.
That was some of the first animes I saw was on the late night Sci-Fi Channel anime hour. It used to be like 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
They'd play one or two movies back to back, and sometimes you'd luck into some really good stuff. Sometimes you'd luck into some really like weird stuff.
Right.
So
That was back before Cartoon Network started doing their Adult Swim and showing all the anime stuff. Or not Adult Swim. What were they calling it? They were calling it.
I think
They
they
had
called it the anime block or some shit like that.
They were calling
had
it.
Toonami, and then they had Adult Swim. Oh shit!
Nope.
Yay!
That was back.
That was weird. I didn't go anywhere.
But I don't know. Sci-Fi used to have great programming. I mean, I remember one of the first. I think Sci-Fi is where I first saw Akira, and I love that movie. That is the what if you're going to be someone who is going to be heavily into anime, that should be one of the first movies you watch is Akira.
And they were showing the Golgo 13 movies as well on there too. And it's like, they got all this great programming, and then you fast forward the clock about 8 years, 6 years later, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Trinchy, let's hear your top three.
Okay, that's hard, but I thought about it, and ones that I would rewatch a lot. Probably Fairy Tale. I loved the first couple seasons of Fairy Tale. The first couple arcs are great. I love the characters, and it's like Dragon Ball Z with magic. It's fun. I gotta go with the English dub of Ghost Stories. That shit's hilarious. I love how they're just like, let's just take this show and just say whatever the fuck we want, and I love it. And Dead Man Wonderland, man, only had one season, but very underrated show. I could rewatch that over and over again. Great show.
Great choices.
Definitely. Those are good choices. Honorable mentions for animes. I'd probably like to mention. No, probably I am going to mention Inuyasha. If not pronouncing it correctly, but that's just because I don't.
You're close enough. It's Inuyasha.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Inuyasha. I probably would throw Big O out there. Not super great, but it was very entertaining. I liked it. Memorable for me, so I put it out there. You know, yeah, honorable mentions.
Nice.
If I'm going to do honorable mentions, I got to do Demon City Shinjuku, which is another one I first saw on Sci-Fi, and then I'm probably gonna have to go original OG Transformers because that is very anime styled.
OG Transformers, Voltron also very good in the same kind of vein. Only that is 100% Japanese. I would be remiss if I did not include Iria Zerum, the animation, even though it's an adaptation of the live action movie. I mentioned that one before. That's a standout for me.
Oh, for movies, I would throw in some of the one dude, I forgot his name, but I would throw in like Grave of the Fireflies, Princess Mononoke, you know.
The
one,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Spirited Away, Studio Ghibli. Yeah.
Oh, I'd just like to point out, Leroy Green has reminded us all that the block was known as Toonami, and he's absolutely right. They still have it going today, and I couldn't remember it, but yeah, Toonami and Gogol 13, yeah. So yeah, right there.
Yeah, because they had the dude in the spaceship. They had like Ted or whatever, the little robot Power Ranger dude in the spaceship, introducing all the shows.
Yeah, and he had like this pixie thing with him.
Yeah.
I think I would have to put it out there, and if I didn't put it out there, I would hate myself. I got to go Lupin the Third.
That's it, Lupin.
I love the character of Lupin. He's just so out there and so cheesy and so zany, and I loved his character.
Oh, dude, I gotta throw out Soul Eater, man. One of the best horror animes, Soul Eater.
I just finished rewatching that about a week ago.
Dr. Stein, man. Dr. Stein is the shit.
There was another one I was watching back a few years ago, back when I had Hulu. And I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like something like My Girlfriend is a Mermaid or something like that. And stop me if you guys have seen this one. It's this kid ends up saving a girl at the beach. I can't remember the circumstances exactly. But in the process of doing so, he ends up being forcibly engaged to her. And she's the daughter of this crime syndicate. And the twist is she's also a mermaid and is half fish. And it's this really zany comedy based around this whole story. Have you guys heard of this one?
No, but it sounds cool.
It sounds funny.
Sounds like a fever dream. But I remember all the banter between the kid and his friends at school and whatnot, and all and all the crazy the crazy bits. They even reference Dragon Ball Z in it a couple times.
I think one of the funniest, more recent animes that I really got into, and it just totally made me die laughing, is Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple. This kid is such a weakling, and so far from what you would think a protagonist in a show would be, but it's so funny to see the masters torture this guy, but you also start to see his story arc grow from the high school weakling that everybody picked on to where nobody wants to mess with him.
Right. Like I try to think of comedies. Like I already said, Ghost Stories. And The Devil is a Part-Timer is a great comedy. Just having the devil have to work at McDonald's is hilarious.
Well, it's like a fish out of water story, but it's also so everybody can kind of identify with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, have you seen the one where the human boy goes to like a monster school and all the female monsters like want to bone him?
Yeah.
I remember that as a
I don't remember the name, but I remember the plot.
It's
Yes.
I'm still at Hulu. I can look it up, but it's something. It's some Adventures in Yokai Land. Because
I'm thinking of the Rosario. I think it's Rosario X something.
The only one I know that has a Rosario in it is Vampire Rosario.
Yeah, I think that's it. The chick with the pink hair, right? She has pink hair. And there were other monster females, and they all wanted to bang this dude.
Because he was the only male at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Vampire Rosario.
Mm-hmm. That was something.
It was funny because anytime a female would come near him, Rosario would lose her shit and go, "Back off, he's mine."
Yeah. And then they had one like that. They had like that Twilight one kind of with the I think it was Vampire Guard or something. And you had the chick, and she was like a guardian between the humans and the vampires. Went to the same school, and her and this other dude were like the guards. But she had like this romantic triangle with the vampire and the guard dude. But it turns out the vampire was like her uncle or something. It's some weird shit, but it was good.
Oh, you know who what I should have included in my list earlier, which I don't even know why, but blank on it. Should have included Sailor Moon. Obvious choice. Should have included that.
Probably as iconic as Dragon Ball.
I would say maybe even more so because it got here first, and it had sort of a bigger following initially, whereas Dragon Ball Z was like a little bit after that.
I would agree with you.
And I've always found Usagi's antics to be hilarious. Like there's this one scene where she's in love with Tuxedo Mask, but she's also in love with Mamoru. She doesn't know they're the same person. And Sailor Mars is like, well, I thought you were in love with Tuxedo Mask. And she's like, well, it's kind of complicated. I like them both. You have them both. What are you doing?
Yeah, Sailor Moon was phenomenal.
But we've lost Frenchie.
We've lost the day of B-Watch.
Ah, there goes the rest of our female demographic.
Damn.
Lord knows they're not going to be here for me.
They're not going to be here for me.
Well, maybe some of them, but
Maybe if I put the mask back on, maybe.
those that like the ladies.
Mhm. I like to do the cha-cha.
But I probably should be getting to the end of this anyway, because we're coming up on the 3-hour mark, which was not my definition of short, but carried away.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm getting the looks from the dog going, Dad, you better take me out.
The poop is gonna happen.
Basically, yeah, that's the look I'm getting.
All right. Well, I guess with that, thank you for coming by. I want to shout out thanks to Trenchy, Mark's Monsters and Madmen, Anthro, and the Trash Picture Show for all being on my stream. This is my very first stream. I want to thank everybody in the chat, Gore, Leroy Green, Art, he was here earlier. If I forget anybody, please forgive me. I'm just trying to end the thing before I get to the 3-hour mark. So, yeah. I guess thank you, everybody. And I will see you, well, not tomorrow. I will see you tonight at 10 p.m. With that, yeah. Adios.
Adios.